Hello and welcome back to Allison Rushin Crafts. Today I'm going to be using the Lovely You bundle, which has this beautiful versatile stamp set in it with all these lovely sentiments that you can add, and these flowers make a great little scene or a background, and then you get the punch with it that punches out. I don't know if you can see, sorry about the reflection, two different types. So you've got a squared off sort of end and a rounded end there for labels, and it cuts a multiple of sizes up to 25mm, so 1 inch, with a variation on it, which is really lovely. So let's get started. What else am I going to be using? I'll also be using circle punch, or anything that you can do cut out some edges on, but I'll show you what I'm going to use that for later. I've got all of my in colour ink pads out today, so we should be using all of them. And then underneath here I've got just a standard A4 sheet of cardstock, thick whisper white, cut lengthways along the length and then scored in the centre to make a little tent fold card. My first layer, the black backing layer, is cut at 14.4 by 10, and then I've got one of each of the in colours here, and these are all cut at 13.9 by 9. I know that sounds an odd mat because it's not, at the moment it's not even all the way around, but we're going to be using the Lovely Labels. What lovely labels? No, the pick a punch. Get it right, Allison. The pick a punch on them, so it's going to cut it up a little bit. You'll see all that come through in a little while. So, and there's those. You're going to need, if you're following and wanting to do this yourself, you're going to need some little strips of card. I've cut these at 2.5 centimeters, so 1 inch wide, and just 11 centimeters roughly, because we're going to want to put them across the back of there, and then I'll trim them up a little bit, so just a little bit bigger than what your cardstock is there. And then for our sentiments, we've got these little white layers, which are, I have no clue, 1 inch I think. Look. Yeah, 2.5 by 7 centimeters on that. So there's 5 of those. Right, let me tidy all these bits up and let's get going. Right, today I'm going to be using the Stamparatus because I want to do multiple stamping on each of the background colours, and this is a perfect tool for that, for repeat stamping, and also if you've misstamped. So if you ink it up, put it down and it's not stamped quite right, then you can do it again, ink it up again and do it again. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant tool. That's just one of the benefits for having one of these. There are quite a few, and I'll show you some more of those at a later date. So all I'm going to do with my, what I've done with my 4 colours, let's put this over here. Now I'm going to use my stamp set there for when I open up the hinge, because the hinge on here, you don't want it going so far back that it rests on there and then you're pushing on it, because you're putting stress on the hinge here, and it's more liable to break and crack. I don't know anybody that's actually done that and broken it, but let's not be tempted. So all I'm going to do is pop that under there, and it just keeps it level and stops any stress coming along on the edge there. Right, so taking the first colour, I've got to remember where I lined this up now. So I think my line up is around about there. I'm going to take a tiny bit of snail and just Pop it on my Stamparatus. I'm lining this up with the line down here, so I've got no mats or anything on this. This is just the actual board itself. I'm lining it up with my stamps. Put that down in the middle. I may just use one of the magnets which are on the back, and I've just put a little bit of what's it called? Not washi tape. Duct tape. Duct tape, because it's a little bit stronger. Just duct tape over mine because it's easier just to pick them up and use them. Now let me just see where that's going to come over, and just to try and keep it completely straight and level, just pop that in that corner. Yeah, this is that. It's brilliant. Yeah, I think we're lined up there. Okay, so I'm going to get ink in. Now I'm going to do colour on colour for each of these. So starting with the cinnamon cider, I'm using the cinnamon cider ink. And I'm just going to ink it up. I know that's slightly, so it's probably slightly off camera for you. The problem is when I swing the hinge, I'm going to hit my camera. So I might just have to ink it up over here. So let me just show you what I'm doing. Sliding it that way, inking it up, nice and juicy. Make sure it's in the right place. Swing it over and just give it a nice little press down. So I've just made these in an arrangement from everything that's in the on the stamp set. So the flowers and a couple of the sentiments, just to make a background of interest. Right, and you can see it's I've missed a little bit just there, so I just want that just a little bit crisper. So I'm going to ink it up once more. Swing it over and make sure I'm pushing down all in the right places this time. There we go. That's lovely. So that's our first one done in cinnamon cider. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to do exactly the same with all of the other colours. And their respective ink pads. Right, there we go, that's the last one done. And as you can see throughout, I just cleaned my stamps with my trusty chamois, which is a brilliant tool to have, especially with the Stamparatus. So let's just put that to one side. We'll make ourselves a little bit more room, and there we go. So that's all of them now stamped up. So we can now move on to the next stage. Right, I'm going to bring in my trimmer now. I hope you can see that correctly on here. Now each strip I'm now going to cut along 18, cut them all at 18 millimeters. So 18 millimeter strips. Okay, so that's all them cut. Each one is now trimmed up exactly the same along there. So taking our pick a punch, I'm going to use the rounded end one, and starting with this colour, I'm going to slide it in. Just make sure it's centralised in the back, and punch. Slide it in back the other way, centralised, and punch. And you're going to do that for every one of the strips, so you need to just keep that going. So I'm going to carry on doing these, and I'll be back to you shortly. Right, there we go. So we're back now. Let's just clear up all this mess. And now we've got all of our strips stamped, cut and punched, we can now move on to putting them all together. So this is where we need our black strips, and as long as I've hopefully kept these all in the same order, it looks like they're upside down. Right, we're going to take a strip, and I'm just using snail at the moment. A couple of strips on the back of there, and this is where we start attaching them. So I'm going to lay one down sort of fairly central about there, put the first one down, and then we're going to move that one over to the side, and we're going to take the second one of our second colour, and we're going to line it up. It should, because we use the Stamparatus, you should be able to line it up perfectly, and butt it up against it and stick it down. So when you come to your next colour, it sounds a little bit complicated, but it's not. You'll get the gist. You'll do 1, 2, and you want the third one across. And again, we'll just line it all up. Push it down. And then when you come to your next colour, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and take your next strip. There's only a little bit to line it up on this one, to the top and bottom. Oh. There we go. And then when you come to the last one, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're using the beginning part. And again, just line it all up. There we go, and that gives you your strip. So you can see I've done a demo one here, and that's exactly what we stamped originally on one colour. So you can see how they're arranged. So that's our first one. Let's pop that one out there, out the way, and then you just continue. So here it'll be, we need to start with this. So you start with the yellow this time. So the next one over is at the end. So pop that one down. That's 1. And then you want the next one. Got to work it out now for myself. Is that one off the top of there? Yep. You'll get the gist because you'll see how they line up. And that one. and then the blue comes off of here. Let's find the line up. That's right. Be on the pink. As you can see, they're shifting over one colour each time. So you'll come back to your first one over here, and then this will be the last colour. So they've I'll show you in a minute. They've sort of shifted their order. And just a little bit of joggle room. So as you can see, they've all moved over one, so the brown one has gone over to the front of that one, and that's how they continue. So I'm going to carry on with those so that you can see how I continue putting them together. There we go, and that's the last one. So as you can see, they're all one stage over from the other, so all just slightly different. Right, we're going to trim these the black bits off now. I'm just going to actually burnish them on there just a little bit, just to make sure they really are stuck well, because we don't want them shifting, coming off. So just a light burnish. There we go. And now just taking my snips, I'm just going to run them along there, just taking off that black edge that we don't want. Brilliant. So that's now smartened and tidied up the edges of all of those. We've got 5 of those, and here I've got my 5 cards and my backing. There's 4 there, so all I did to get this rounded corner, just to add a little bit of interest when they're laid down, is I took my, this is actually a 1.5 inch, but you could use any size circle punch you've got. I don't know whether you can see, but here I've marked 2 little with my Sharpie marker, 2 little points that I want to line my card up to. So I put my card in. Let's see whether you can see this. I'm going to put my card in, line up the edges of my card so that it looks, just eyeballing it, just so it looks fairly central, and snip. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. Right. Line it up, snip, and do that for each of the 4 corners, and just makes your punches go a little bit further, a little bit more versatile than just punching out a circle, and snip. And there we go, perfectly rounded corners. Let's just pop those out of our way. Now we're going to mount all of these onto here, and I'm going to use the Tombow for that, for the extra strength. So just make sure you put some on each of the pieces, and then finding the central point. Right, there we go. That's all of those glued down onto their black layers. And I think we're going to do, let's do the sentiments next, I think. So I've picked Cherished Friend from the same stamp set. We're going to use this one. And I'm going to stamp it. Sorry, get this glue off my fingers. One in each of the colours. Move those out of the way. We've got Misty Moonlight. Line it up in the centre. Down and up. And again, I'm going to use my chamois. Right, just give those a few seconds to dry. I just want to clean my stamp. So these chamois are absolutely perfect. They look really filthy, don't they? But this, literally, you just rinse it with water to rinse it out. It doesn't come clean, it does stain, but it cleans up the stamps absolutely beautifully. So I wouldn't be without it now. It's a very helpful addition. Right, what have I done with the punch? Okay, taking the punch, I'm going to use the other side this time, the flat edge, and we're just going to pop it in there to the end. Oh. And we're going to do the same for all of these. Right, let's move those over there for a minute. So that's all of those cut out. Right, let's have a little think. Now I've got these back. That's how are we going to work this? I think I might marry up each of the individually coloured ones with the one that's on the left hand side, so it's offset over there. So they go with that way round with each. That looks quite nice. I'm toying with putting on some of this ribbon on the back because we've got the black. Have you seen this? It's absolutely stunning. Glittered organdy ribbon, and it comes in 10 yards, and it's 1 centimetre wide. But I don't know if you can catch it on camera, but it's got this glitter through it. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It's actually returned in the catalogue because it was out last year, and they kept it in there, and I was so pleased. It's definitely one of my favourites. I'm just thinking, does it just need just a little something behind it, maybe, to go on there? Yes, so let's just do that. The time that this is taking, you're actually making 5 cards in probably the time that occasionally one would take you. These are great just to send out to your friends that perhaps we're not able to see at the moment. I know lockdown's easing a bit, but there's still some far and wide that we can't get to. Right, we're going to pop that on there. Now, do we lay it flat and then pop this up, I think? Just pop the sentiment up. Yeah, let's go with that. Right, so a bit more Tombow. Right, Let's move those out the way. And we're going to need some dimensionals. There's, I think we're going to want the little ones, and I think I'm going to run it along the edges so that it goes either side of there. Where's my... Let's try it with my take a pick tool. It's fiddlier than I anticipated. Come on. I want it to go all soggy in the middle, but I think... Come on, off you come. Yes, that's lovely. Okay, so let's go with that. Now, these are going to take me a little while to do, so I'll probably get all these done, fast forward, and I'll be back with you shortly. Right, there we go. That's the last one on. That's probably the most time consuming bit about it, hence why I fast forwarded that. It is only really a few minutes, but you're not going to want to watch me sticking those on the back of everything. So there we go, there's our cards so far, and I'm just looking at them and thinking they just need, I know they're really bright and cheerful, but they just need a little something else. So I'm going to have a look and see if I can find my butterfly punch, I think. There we go. Right, yes, the butterfly duet punch. So let's have a little think. Am I going to punch it just a single colour on each one, or are we going to use? There we go. Right. So with the butterfly gala set, I need to find my scraps of paper. I'll keep all my scraps like this in a pouch. Let's see if I've got enough of each colour to stamp and punch out. So it's going to be wide enough. Should be okay. Got enough there. Let's give this a go. Which one should we have? I think we'll go with this one actually. I think that's quite nice. Let's go with that one because it's got a little solid bit to him. Let's find a block. Pop him on a block. And again, I'm going to do colour on colour stamping for this. I'm not using my Stampin'Up, so I should really put a pierced mat underneath, I think. Just try and get a better impression. So sure he's well inked up. Down, give that a chance to soak into the cardstock. And off. There we go. So that's one. Close our ink pad up before I get all inky yet again, which is what normally happens. Move those over there. And now let's punch out our butterflies. So going from an intricate but simple card, once you get the idea of the layout and how to put it out, it's now growing and growing, isn't it? So where's my stamps up? We need some bodies. Right, first off I'm going to work out whether I'm going to use both on here. Yes, I think so. So I'm going to want to get both out. Yeah, these are the little ones that I always lose. So easy. A couple of little blocks. Right, let's move those little ones out the way before I lose those as well. And let's bring back in our cards and see what order. So we've gone with this. So I think I will use the prominence and match them up with their... Oh, no, that's quite nice. Oh, I think I'm going to stick with the tone on tone look. I think we'll have them like that going through. So with my butterflies, I literally, I've broken my nail, I just bend up the wings on the side of the body just a little bit, yeah, just to give it a little bit of a curl to each of the wings. Same again with this one. And then we're going to tiny bit of Tombow. Oh, this is my empty one nearly, isn't it? Come on, come on. There we go. And I think about there. Where I want it. My bone folder, just hold that there for a second, give it a chance to dry, and just work out where do we want him on there. Yeah, put him on there. So let's just clear some space here, put all these away, and then we can see how we're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See all those? They're quite beautiful, aren't they? Right, I think they just need a little bit of sparkle. As you know, everything of mine pretty much gets a wink of Stella. So just bringing in the wink of Stella. Just a little swipe over the wings of each of the butterflies. Just to lift them. If you're gentle, it won't move the ink around too much. There you go. Let's make sure we do the baby one as well. There we go. And I just need to see. Pop a little something on each of those. Bear with me. Right, I've just got out my little in colour dots, and I think we'll give one. Let's use it. Above the eye on friend for each one on their respective colours. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And then one in the centre of our butterfly for each colour. I'm just trying to work out if these would be too big, because they should only be in threes. Whether they're too big for the other butterfly or not, let's have a little look. Oh, I think that's okay. Right, that's it. I need to stop. No more. I think that's enough on those, because I could just go on forever otherwise. So there we go. 5 cards with all the 5 colours. Very similar, but all showcasing the beautiful 5 in colours. Again, there's a bit of a theme going on here, isn't there? I think you can gather that I really, really love these colours. They definitely are one of my faves that's ever been in the catalogue as a set of colours. I think they all go beautiful together. So if there's anything that you've seen today that you'd like to purchase, pop on along to my Stampin' Up shop or my blog. There's a link in my blog as well. I'll put all the links down below the video, and I'll also put the sizes that I read out for the cardstock, etc., that you need. And if there's anything I can help you with, or you've got any questions, either comment on the video or send me an email. My email address is on there as well. I hope you've enjoyed this today, and we've now got some beautiful little cards to send out to our cherished friends. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting. Bye.